Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to Maud's Book Club. We are doing Aussie August here for Maud's Book Club, where we are doing two Aussie authors, and we've got a guest on for today.
Hello there.
Hello. We're doing Empire of the Vampire, which is by Jay Kristoff. He is an Aussie author. I actually started reading one of his books about 3 years ago, and I liked it so much that I stopped because I was like, I want to do that for book club, but I actually like this one better too. Jay Kristoff is an international New York Times and USA Today bestselling author of fantasy and sci-fi. He's the winner of 8 Aurelius Awards. He's had over 2 million books in print. He's published in over 35 countries. He is 6'7" and believes he has approximately 12,000 days to live, but I don't know when he wrote that. So he wrote it in his bio. So let's say he's only got 10,000 now. Tim, if you want to crunch the numbers for me, come back with an answer, that'd be great.
It's 27 years.
Yeah, I was just about to say the math isn't mathing.
Yep. For me, were we really surprised is what we'll say for that. The guest that we've got on for today's episode, this is her fourth time on Maud's Book Club. Guys, it's Mama Garrett, everyone. Round of applause. Mama Garrett in the house. Round of a...
Good afternoon. Good evening. It's evening time, isn't it? Twilight.
Hey, listen!
It's my mum. My mum's in town. Not in town. She's in the chat right now. She's read Empire of the Vampire. Mum, how many times have you been on Maud's Book Club?
Maybe 4 or 5. 3 or 4.
3 or 4? 3 or 4 sounds about right. I remember we did the last stop for June last year. Oh no, it was 2 years ago, June. We did, you usually jump on for June, I'm noticing. We did Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil.
Yes.
So there was a lot of vampire talk. You're quite versed in vampire.
Yes, I certainly am. You keep pushing the vampires onto me. We did the T.J. Klune.
Oh, how
the Cerulean Sea.
Yep. Did I make you read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin? That was to you, Mum. You're still muted. Don't worry, it's not like we're live.
It's on my list.
So we didn't get you to do that one. Copy. Anyway, lots of fun books to talk about. I know that your personal favorite was House on the Cerulean Sea. You went off and you created a Spotify playlist of songs that Lucy would play. And you did it for your book club.
I did. They loved it. The songs are great.
I've also made you read Project Hail Mary. You've not read Dungeon Crawler Carl yet, huh?
I have not, no.
Oh, someone's birthday's coming up. You might have to get it for it.
No, I haven't read that one. We did another one. We did the train one.
Yeah, the last stop.
The last stop, and there was another one we did about a female vampire.
Yep, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Yep.
Yeah, so it's maybe 5.
The Martian, I think, weren't you here for The Martian?
I did, yes, I might have been. I like The Martian.
It was an Andy Weir book. Yes. Good work, Timbo. We're back again to talk vampires. Now, Mum, I've outed you about this this time last year when we were doing Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but I'm going to do it again just in case people don't know this. You and I went down a very deep vampire rabbit hole around the Twilight years, didn't we? I consumed Twilight. I got you into them. You were like, Maud, these are terrible. So therefore, I will read every other vampire book out there just to be certain.
Well, I kept thinking they were so kind of celibate and so dull in a lot of ways. This is the twinkly ones, wasn't it? These were the ones that twinkled. And I thought, oh, God, there must be some decent vampires in the world that are a lot more interesting than this. Anyway, I went searching because you told me, read this Twilight book.
Yeah.
And I went to the library and I got Twilight out and I thought, oh, my God, what is my daughter reading? And it was a Southern book called Twilight, which was really dark and really
That was the wrong book.
frightening. I'm thinking, oh my God, what's Maud doing in America?
And I'm like, are you Team Edward or Team Werewolf?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm not anything of the sort.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What's the other guy's name? Jacob. Good Lord. No, you accidentally read the wrong Twilight book, and you read the whole
Absolutely
thing to
read the
try and
wrong
relate to
Twilight
me.
book.
And it was
Yeah.
absolutely awful. And I said, no, that's the wrong book. And you were like, oops.
Well, I was sort of starting to think you needed some serious sort of therapy if that was what you were really liking to read.
Well, I think that still applies to the other Twilight book, Mum. So,
Maybe, yes, that's true.
wait, were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Like, real legitimate question.
Jacob.
Why? They were both terrible. I guess he was the lesser of two
Because
evils.
Edward was just so boring.
Good.
He was a vampire. He's not supposed to be boring.
Good point. Well, we're back into the vampires here. How do the vampires in this book, Empire of the Vampire? Oh, my mic is low. One moment, please. Can we guess? 72.
57. Damn it.
Wait, what was it?
67 maybe.
I guess 71.
Hey, you're usually closest. I love that just people start guessing numbers. We've been doing this so long. It's wonderful. So Empire of the Vampire, we've done the entire thing now. The question that I ask everyone once we finish the book is book good? So let's go around all of my members plus. Give this book a rating out of 5 for me. What'd you like? What'd you not like? Mum's already kind of given us the spiel below the start of the Maud words before the show. So who wants to give me their rating and review? Jimmy's hands up.
Yes. So I would give this book, I would say like a 3.5.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Because it is a compelling story because it's like Gabriel is, enslaved, but he's talking about his adventurous past and, trying to resurrect the human spirit in order to rescue himself from the vampire oppressors and whatnot. But in the same token, like your mother said, it was like some unanswered questions. Again, this is where the video game Castlevania would truly shine because it actually gives more in-depth explanation. But I understand that not everyone is familiar with that video game. But overall, well-written, relatable characters in terms of, like having to overcome obstacles, whatever they may be, So that's what I give it.
Okay, 3.5. What's everyone else given this one? I'm reading out some in the comments. Berkey is giving it a 3.75. Phantom Aria gives it a 3.75. Smeckard said plot tease the book. Toaster Poster says, look, I still haven't finished. I'm at book 4, chapter 2. Book's pretty full on. I am still enjoying it, but so far it's about a 3.75 out of 5. Lisa, you say you're probably at a 4. Talk me through your 4.
There's just a lot of things I enjoy in the book. Obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of vampires, so that's always good. But I liked I don't know if everybody else did, but I liked the jumping back and forth in his story. It kept things interesting, like the timeline and the reveals. But there are still questions, I think, that didn't get answered maybe. And I don't know. I'm excited to finally move on and read the second book because I only read the first book before. This was a reread for me. So.
Okay. Pianki gives it a 3.5 out of 5. Smeckard gives it a 3 out of 5. Colleen, you're giving it a 4. Talk me through your 4.
Well, it took me a minute to catch on to the back and forth. It kind of threw me when it made the first jump.
Yep.
But I like the way things are being slowly revealed. And I like the different powers and the different bloodlines. I thought that was really interesting. I think the take on religion is really interesting. I can see a comparison to Witcher,
Yes.
but I also still get some Da Vinci Code vibes from it because of the Holy Grail being a person.
Got it. Yeah.
I thought
yeah.
that was kind of interesting.
And
I-
the,
I
yeah, and
like-
the religious undertones. What was the other one where you had Paul Bettany self-flagellating?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of Dan Brown isms happening, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Look, I used to read those Dan Browns in like 1 or 2 sittings. Like, I was definitely chowing through those. Do you remember that, Mum? I remember one of the holidays we went to by the beach and I brought that book and I just read it the whole time.
Okay, no, I can't remember, but I do remember Dan Brown. Yes, the first one. We all read it pretty fast.
Yep.
But I was thinking this is more like Harrison Ford meets Joan of Arc.
Oh, wow. Well, that's because you haven't played The Witcher
I have not.
or watched Castlevania.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I don't play video games at all. How much does that influence the way you approach a book like this?
I like it. I guess I like it more, or I have an imprint of a very similar character that I can kind of get to know or already do know. And so there's less sort of like introduction and there's more like straight to it because I've been there. Familiarity. If you ever want to play video games, Mum, you know what to do.
I know I've got a whole family full of them and they can all teach me.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll keep reading books too. Don't you worry. Vaden, 2.5 out of 5. This, along with Jeff's, I believe, is the lowest score. Jeff, did you also give it a 2.5? Yes. Go on,
Yeah,
Vaden.
so basically, there was, I think most aspects of the book I wasn't a fan of. Like the setting, it's not particularly interesting to me. The characters were pretty, I felt like archetypal, like very just standard stuff. Plot, like predictable characters. Like the plot was, again, most predictable and not very interesting.
Wait. You knew the twist at the end? You keep...
No, not the twist. I didn't understand that twist, but a lot of the twists.
Mm-hmm.
That one just felt nonsensical to me. I didn't expect it, but also it is like I was like, oh, I should have known this, or it just felt like it was forced in and like ridiculous to me, so I didn't like it. So just, and also I wasn't picking out the dialogue. It's just everyone's cross all the time. I mean, I understand that sometimes there's an appeal to that. I knew people like that and like Liza, like Locke Lamora, that kind of
Yes.
style, and it's gonna be fun. But to me, that gets old pretty fast, and I just get tired of it. I'm like, okay, maybe in the sports would be nice, but if it's reading a whole book of that 700 pages, it's just like, no, I get tired.
Okay.
I like much of it except for the world building. I thought the world building was really interesting with the way Faith actually has a power that's clear and obvious, and the way characters incorporate that into like tattoos to the characters, all that stuff. I thought it was cool. But yeah.
Thank you. Jeff, also 2.5. You were nodding along to some of what Vaden said. I said nodding, everyone, not noddling. Jeff, what's your 2.5 about?
I mean, remember for me, 2.5 is fine. Like it's good. Like it's right average, bang spot in the middle. It's good. Yeah, I agree with Vaden that the grid mark books are just exhausting to read.
The fact that it sounded normal when you said it.
I was trying for it. But yeah, it's just they get so exhausting. It's just this constant sort of dreary whatever, and I just can't. And I'm 2/3 of the way through the last book, so I'm not going to say a ton tonight. But
Oh, the last one. Wow.
well, the third one, like it's a trilogy, so the third one.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I also agree with your mom. tons of answers that aren't provided. And I can tell you where I am reading right now, a lot of those answers, most of those answers, I still don't have. So, yeah, I said in the Discord that I was really hoping it wouldn't like end on like this book wouldn't end on like the story catching up to the telling and then craziness happening in the current time, and it didn't. And so that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like that was nice.
There you go. Wow, you read a lot in the last week, huh?
Bit.
Wowee. Okay, so more scores coming through. Alicia says, book good. I love the second half a lot better than the first, as did I. KP Dub says, I give it 5 skipped reads out of 0. I do plan on reading it, though, someday. I love that you still show up, though, KP. That's great. Rocco says, book good, I believe. It was like the Interview with the Vampire, but backwards, kinda. Rocco said, oops, but I forgot to give my rating. I'd agree with the 3.75 rating. I'm leaning towards 4 or higher, depending on how the book series goes. Pianki says, jumping back and forth felt like a cop-out to keep readers from feeling too bored. Oh. Alicia says, the first half was about a 2.5 out of 5 for me, but the second half was a 4.5, a 4 out of 5. It had a certain authenticity towards the end that I found redeeming, whereas originally it was too emo angst for me. Katie gave it a 5 out of 5. I liked the world. I'm willing to continue the series. Katie, are you there? I'd love to hear more about that because you're the only 5 that I've seen thus far. Colleen said the first part felt a lot more tropey to me. Toaster said, an enjoyment and reread of a book as if I want to visit the setting, hang out with the characters, and I'll survive the world. All answers are no, but I still like the book. Vaden says, oh, I forgot to mention the narration was pretty awful, so maybe I would have enjoyed it more if I physically read it. Oh, got it. Look, I agree with a lot of people. Colleen saying that the first half didn't find its feet. It took a while to get into it. I had that, but I wonder if that's because of the audiobook. And so when I went to reading it, or I had it on Kindle, which means you can do a read and listen. And I liked it a lot more once I could kind of get the words visualized in front of me. A lot more. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. When you think about it, I really, really liked the protagonist. I loved the world building. I loved sort of the lore that they instilled with it. I don't usually like grimdark or gridmark. If you're me with dyslexia, which usually happens, Mama, that's the in-joke there. I more often than not will call it gridmark when I read it. I didn't feel like I was starving for answers. And I think that's because we were jumping to and fro the whole time. I was getting and building a sense of who 16-year-old Gabriel was, and then 32-year-old Gabriel, and then sort of present day telling of the story Gabriel. I know that he started off sort of, with family trauma, and his sisters were attacked, and he found purpose, and he was starting to understand that he was a bit different, even though he thought he was failing. I love a lot of these tropes. I love an academy setting. I love people having different abilities. Jeff's face. Anything has like differentiating powers, I automatically love that. That's always my jam. I don't know why, but it's growing up on X-Men maybe, but I just love all that stuff. I love the strong female characters in this book. I really liked that. I loved the effortless acceptance of same-sex relationships, even though it was fighting against what society was wanting from it. But our protagonist being really accepting of it. Mum, that's something that stood out to you. It's something that really stood out to me as well. Because it just, even though it was abnormal to the religious side of it, it was very normal for everyone else. And I really dug that. I saw on Reddit there was someone being like, there are more gay people than there are straight in this book. And I'm like, I never saw it as they're gay and they're straight. I just saw them all as characters who were defying or rebelling against a system that was unjust. I thought that there were twists in there which I liked. I didn't feel like that the twist with the sister was unwarranted. I think that had that been more linear, you would have felt the impact of that more. But because it had been since like book 1 where the letters were unanswered, and then, you know, he never got to get closure from that relationship. I'm actually kind of excited that she's still in the picture, I'll be honest. And this is the only other person with sanguimancy, the blood magic. And she's spent the last 15 years training on how to use it, which is why she can create a blood sword. Shit like that is cool. Like that sort of world building and the fantastical elements with vampires, instead of it leaning too heavy into the tropey, I find it to be really, really refreshing and exciting. And I felt like, yes, there was a lot of tragedy and travesty, but I swore in front of my mum, says KP, you don't got to out me in the chat though. You just put the swear count in. Hey mum, I've been streaming for 6 years. What do you think the swear count is up to? What number?
This is out of 1,000.
This is just out of streaming. Every time I swear, it ticks up. The number goes up 1. What do you think?
Okay, well, I would say it would be reasonably substantial.
If you had to guess the number?
No.
Well, if you let me say, what is another good swear word? Shit, fuck, and not that one in front of my mum. Bugger, bloody hell. What's another one? What's your favorite swear word?
It's a lot to choose from,
especially in this book. To bring the segue back, God, there were so many. I think Fuck Knuckle got one in here, which I again big fan of. Okay, I just hit 2,000.
I was just going to ask a question. What does everybody think of? I mean, this is a kind of a 21st century book overlaid with a 6th century kind of feel. So I thought that it was, you know, when you start swearing through it, is it going to be jarring or, you know, and seem really out of place, or is it going to be really kind of accessible? And when I first heard the swearing, I thought, oh, we'll see what happens. And then in the second, after a little while, I thought it's actually quite fun because he swears an awful lot.
Yep.
And there's one little expression that he uses, which I quite like, the prophecy of fuckassery. I mean, there's some quite, was it prophecy? It was something like prophecy of fuckassery.
Yeah, you should say it 10 more times, Mum.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, that's quite fun. I mean, and I felt, I mean, in some books that are kind of medieval, that language, that really contemporary language, I find quite jarring. It just doesn't seem to fit in. And this one, I thought fitted in really well. It just didn't seem to bother me at all. And as I say, I quite liked some of the expressions and stuff. I thought they were quite fun.
Agree. So then you won't be shocked to know that I just hit 2,000 on the swear count.
Whoa. I've not done my job as a parent.
You literally just said ass fuckery on my stream twice.
That was a quote.
I think you taught her well.
Good job.
Where do you think I get it from, Mother?
I have no idea.
Goodo. That is a really interesting thing. Tonal inconsistencies. Do you think that this setting in the Catholicism 6th century-esque type place is fitting for that language? I completely agree with you, Mum. No surprise there. I loved that. You really get a sense of who Gabriel is as a character with that. You really get a sense of like fun and almost like earned agency from Dior when she challenges him in those sort of verbal spars. I dig it. I really, really dig it. But you're right. Anything that's high fantasy that almost has like a modern swear word, I get yanked straight out of the narrative. Like it is jarring, but it really, really works in this one. And there's a few really good quotable ones. Like I was a big fan of it. Anyone else want to weigh in on that? We kind of spoke about the language in the first part of it, and some people were like, it's a bit much, and other people were like, no, it's fine.
Well, like you said before, it's got a lot of spirit to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about the context of which it appears in, because I would assume that if you were doing it in a scene that required nothing for it to be there, then it would be like, why is he
what was the
complaining
point of
about
it?
this dumb thing?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he has, he's suffered, he's been through a lot of stuff, and through suffering becomes a new being. So it makes sense that he would want to display his new personality through snark or whatever you want to call it.
There has been a lot of research that people who swear are more intelligent. Yeah, sure.
And they live longer.
Yeah. That is true. Well, there you go. Mum, do you want to go through some of the other interesting thoughts that you had about the book? Or do we want to get stuck into the ending and unpack that?
I don't know. Did you guys talk about addiction? I mean, that's pretty much all the way through the book.
Just that there was like a setback where, I mean, we actually haven't spoken about the why because we didn't know, but we found out why he made a point to no longer sort of like consume or drink blood in that way, because he was so busy trying, like he made a vow to himself that he wouldn't be the monster that his situation is trying to make him be. But yeah, drug addiction is something that was absolutely brought up, but you mentioned it in a very different way. You were talking about, let me go back to your notes. Was it vampirism is a metaphor for the plague? No, you tell me what you feel about addiction as a theme in this book.
Well, I mean, it's obviously there's an addiction to blood. The vampires are addicted to whatever they're addicted to. They seem to be. I mean, I felt that the vampires weren't really well defined. I mean, I wanted to kind of know a little bit more about their world and where they'd come from and all that sort of stuff. And he's not going into that at all, really. You know some of them, the lines of them, but you don't really know. I would have liked to have known a little bit more about them. But the addiction, I think, I thought the way he described the addiction for Gabriel was really very real. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was, I don't know, I felt as if it was really an important aspect of the book, that as an underlying sort of thread. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can articulate clearly why I thought addiction was important, but I thought it was.
I like what you're saying about usually the world building around vampires is the thirst, right? The addiction showing up with I'm so hungry, but you can never sate the hunger or the thirst, and you have to consume, but it's still never enough. Whereas it's almost the opposite here. The villains, the big bads, you're right. The onus, the focus is on the fact that they have like a particular lineage that unlocks a particular power, but you don't really see them wanting to consume for like a life force. And it's more about him trying not to give into it. Like he only needs a little bit to be okay. And it's the point of it is to not consume and to not bow down to it in a way. Vaden, your hands up.
Just on that point about the one of the themes is definitely drug addiction about the book, and I think it makes sense partially because the book is very depressing, right? And the characters are going through extremely hard times. So one way a lot of people get through that is through drugs. So it helps like immerse yourself more into that dark setting. Like people need this thing to get about by. Like even what's called the bastard queen, their princess, how do I call her? Astrid. She was smoking pretty much all the time, like on a regular basis, because it helped her get through her situation, which was really sad for her. So it's not like just a poor person thing. It's like a lot of people are dealing with issues that they need a way to relieve the stress.
Which is interesting because if Gabriel was using the addiction to suppress and to not feel and to not hold on to that pain. Like this whole book is his absolute recollection. So it has not done anything to forget. This guy's recall is like, there's very little wiggle room. It's not, I can't remember if it was this person or that person. Like, he is retelling this story as if he is there. So it's almost like he wants to never forget Astrid, or never forget Patience, his daughter, never forget what they look like, sound like, what they, who they are. So it's kind of like the opposite for that. But his is definitely I never wanted the taste of blood. And then, of course, now I recognize that I'm part monster and I want to suppress the monster, which, gives those urges that I don't want. But it is an interesting conversation. Mum, if you were a vampire, would you be okay staying alive?
Oh, well, gee whiz, Maud. I guess one of the quotes that Jay Christoph sort of had was through Gabriel talking about the longevity, that the people that live forever are the people that want to die the least. And I thought that was quite interesting. Well, it was the gist of it. Mm-hmm. But that idea that, this sort of craving to live forever is very driven within them.
Yeah, that I relate to.
But along with a certain arrogance about the fact that they can survive pretty much anything.
Yeah, but do they start cherishing their life, or do they have like a bit of a messiah complex? Do they think they're untouchable?
In this one, they seem to be wanting to take it's not clear. They want to be taking over the world. They want to seem to be ridding people of humans of being there. They're taking over castles, they're taking over areas, they're kind of having fun plotting and planning villages and like DaCostas and stuff. So you sort of see that they've got a bit of a mission, but it's a little bit unclear exactly what that mission is, what that end point is. They've been given kind of this grace in sense that they can run around during the daytime, and there's a lot of freedom associated with that. But you get the sense of, well, what are they really trying to achieve here? They want to get Gabriel, they want to get the Dior, but that's not the only thing they've been doing.
Are they building armies? Because the thralls kind of seem not like a long-term investment. It's sort of like when they need them, and they just now need them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of disposability about the thralls, isn't there? There's back to that arrogance. There's an arrogance for the princes and the king and the relatives, if you like, of the four sects. But after that, nothing matters. Nobody matters. I found that a little bit unsatisfying, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, you want to know the why behind your antagonists, right? What is your goal? And usually, it's greed based, as we know for a lot of these. It's, I want more, I want to conquer, I want to, mine. But in this one, it's like, yeah, where do they, now that they've had the dimmed sun, now day's death, what are they doing? Where are they roaming? What's their agenda? And then you've kind of got what confused me was like, the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. And that for me was a bit like, oh, like that's again that grimdark where you're like, oh, that's not hope for an allyship. It's just another hurdle. It's just another person trying to kill you. But I think I was a little bit like rattled with the, hold on, these twins who are addicted to violence and extreme violence are wanting to use faith in God as their reasoning behind their terrible actions. And then you're like, how can that coexist when you have the princes and the forever king in the same universe? So that for me kind of like I didn't clock that. That didn't make as much sense to me, because it no longer sort of became humans versus vampire, and it wasn't God versus or living versus dead, or it wasn't God versus cruelty. Like, there was no clear agenda. Like, how would everyone here, what would you describe the watered down premise? Colleen?
Well, I think that didn't bother me because I think one of the problems is a lot of people will hide behind religion
Yes.
when they're just as much monsters as anyone else. So not having a clear distinction between, religion is good, vampires are bad, or, I think everything is a gradient.
Yes.
There's, good people here, there's bad people there. And it's, like Chloe being willing to murder Dior after she'd basically lied to her the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saying
that's
it's God's
religious
will.
fervor, but yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like, I'm
that's
pretty sure that's
weaponized
violating
religion.
every code of conduct as far as your religion, what your religion stands for. Chloe.
Yeah,
didn't like
there's
that
always a
one.
caveat, though. There's always a get out of jail card for religion.
It's God's will, Mum. In fact, Jesus personally told me that I was okay violently beating you up because it's God's will. Tim.
I was just gonna say there's more than one get out of jail free card for religion, because there's obviously it was God's will, and then there's also the devil made me do it. Like, there's very little accountability being taken. It's always someone else's will that makes you do something rather than you just friggin' did it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, faith sometimes is believing something bigger than you, right? And so when you believe in something that is bigger than you, then you also get to use that to separate your actions and yourself from the thing that is bigger, right?
Yeah, but it's a cop out.
I agree.
I don't know. I grew up religious, and I'm obviously not anymore, and that's
Why?
kind of the reason why.
Right.
Is
Was there like a
just a lack of
moment
accountability.
that was the breaking point for you? That was like the wake up call? It's really interesting talking to a lot of Americans who were raised quite.
Among other things, there was that, and then also being raised to follow the teachings of Jesus and love everyone, the whole love your neighbor as yourself, and then looking around and seeing other people that call themselves the same Christian that I was calling myself, not doing that at all.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Love thy neighbor, but also here is the number for ice. And you're like, what?
yeah, love your neighbors, but definitely hate the gays and and I'm just like, you guys, that's not love in any way, shape, or form. And at a certain point, I just kind of realized that at least modern Christianity missed the boat on what it was intended to be.
So
and
let's
that's kind
talk
of when I walked away.
Let's talk about the Catholicism in this book then, because we spent a lot of time last week talking about the fact that faith did instill a power here, right? If you believed you could summon the light that would act as a deterrent or to damage the vampires and the undead. So in saying that, it's almost made faith be a tangible positive force. So how was the betrayal of Chloe's actions? Did that cut so much deeper? Because it's like, well, no, like we made the power of faith literally compel you. And then it's like, is it Chloe's actions or is it a part of faith and something bigger that this requires it? That's like the conversation that needs to happen as well. Because Gabriel was put in a position, do you sacrifice one person, an innocent person, knowing that it could save all of humanity and eradicate the vampires and bring back days and the sun coming up? But that is also fundamentally wrong. Like, this is the choice that needed to be made. It is not a win-win situation. Do you think, I mean, Chloe thinks that she was justified. Greyhand, same thing. They all turn on Gabriel and kill him because he's trying to stop this from happening. Do you feel like Grimdark are those lose-lose situations? Who do you think is right and who do you think is wrong?
Can I just talk about transference?
Yeah.
Well, Gabriel, fixates on Dior once she's revealed to be a girl, because and I realised at that time, and when he's talking to his Astrid in the blighted forest, that she was dead and probably his daughter was dead, and so his fixation on Dior is a transference from his daughter to her.
Well, she
and
called
he
that out.
couldn't protect his daughter. He couldn't save his daughter from whatever went on with Danton. That this becomes absolutely all-consuming for him. He has to save her because he has not saved the other two loves of his life. And even though Dior's not the love of his life, she's a representation of somebody that needs protecting. And so it almost goes beyond religion, I think, in that sense. I mean, yes, the religious ideology says we're going to kill her because we think that the prophecy that somebody wrote at some stage in the past that we kind of believe is right. Therefore, we'll kill her just to make sure that we get the best. You get the best result from it. But yeah, Gabriel is doing this for a completely non-religious reason, I think.
No, yes, I absolutely agree with that. His is a lot more psychological. And Dior, only 16 years of age, recognizes that and basically wants to snap him out of that, being like, I know what you're doing. I know you were only like this because you couldn't save your family, but like, stop it. It can't be this. But so thank you for bringing up the transference. But the fact that, faith is such a big play here, and it definitely gets weaponized, even though we've spent the book seeing the positive, the positive actions of faith. Like, who here thinks that if they went through with the sacrifice, it would actually work? Because it seems cruel for a Grail to be a person that needs to be destroyed. It seems like
a lot of hope on it. A lot of...
Okay.
Yeah, I think you asked if we were right or wrong, and I would say
who's right, who's wrong? Is there right or wrong?
It's pretty much, I think it's generally gonna be wrong. Pretty much, like in this case, Colleen brings it up in chat, but basically, like, Dior had never had a choice in this either. She was never even asked, like, hey, do you want to sacrifice your life for this? Maybe she would. Maybe she'd say, okay, this is worthwhile, end to my life. Maybe this is worth it to me. But she was never consulted. There's no consent given. So it's literally a forced sacrifice. And the other thing to me is I have very little trust, essentially, in these kind of things working out. Like, there's always like that kind of hope. There's always things. These always kind of like devil's kind of bargain deals. Like, oh yeah, if you just do this one small thing, maybe one truly evil thing, then everything will work out for you. And it's always the hope they give you, and obviously to people who are in a very horrible age. So they'll take whatever they can get, even if it's like a 0.0001% chance they'll take it. But it's always wrong, and it's
we didn't mean it like that. You should have known better. And you're like, what? Yeah, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Yes, I get it. I've got some. I looked up a few controversies surrounding this book, of what people thought, and I want to go through them all with you. There's 4 of them. Number 1, is Astrid's death narratively earned, or is it grimdark misogyny? So some readers felt like her murder only served to traumatize Gabriel rather than develop her character. Do you feel it wasn't necessarily a fridging, so to speak, that they didn't know what to do with her, but her only purpose was to serve as Gabriel's, like, angst and vengeance Anyone got thoughts on that? Colleen.
I kind of agree with that because when what's his name, Voss, comes in to, he literally says that he's just there to make Gabriel suffer by taking his family away, by doing to him, a vengeance. So I think in the beginning, she had more of a part to play in forming Gabriel. But at that point, her death was definitely just a means of vengeance. So, yeah, it became his motivation.
I wonder if both are true, because I really like Astrid as a character. I really like the impact that she had on Gabriel. I think that they were a really good fit. I think that they both represented being trapped and having to make sort of decisions about your entire life when you were very, very young, where it's like you swear these massive oaths that affect the rest of your life forever. And I don't think that they wanted to fall in love, but it happened. And it's interesting that the biggest failure that Danton feels Gabriel committed was sloth. It was normalcy. It was the fact that he met someone and went away from the life and just wanted to settle down and just have a normal kind of life. And that's what infuriated Danton more than anything. It was almost like how dare you not be a fair fight to me? How dare you opt out and try to seek happiness? No, you are the only one that has the potential to destroy me. And I'm bored because you're deciding to choose the life that you want to leave. So I'm going to prompt you and push you and provoke you back into this fight that I want you to be in with me. If Astrid was a very faceless, nameless, beige character, then yes, her entire purpose is to serve the catalyst of Gabriel. I think it acts as more of a tragedy, and it leans into grimdark tragedy, that she was such an asset, that she was really cool. I loved seeing her on the page. And so I'm not sure. I do think it was a little bit more earned, and she did go down fighting. So yeah, there you go. Mum, thoughts?
The misogyny part of it. You said something about misogyny.
Grimdark misogyny. Kill the woman so that the man has purpose. There's an inverse of that. A girl gets assaulted, and now because she's a survivor, she toughens up and can face all these other things. It's that kind of thing that happens in storytelling. But what's common between both of them? It's the woman gets hurt.
Yes, but Astrid doesn't come over as a weak person.
No.
She comes over as quite a strong person. I don't know that I felt she got enough airtime in a way, especially, their life in the lighthouse. And a lighthouse is actually, so I looked it up, is the first lighthouse was in 1818.
So there were no lighthouses in that era?
And he's got lighthouses and all this stuff that was nowhere near the sort of 6th century. Although he did talk about the 6th century, I must say. That's where his focus was. He was looking at the history of the 6th century. This is Christoph. So I think they sort of underdid Astrid as a character. But yes, I get what you're saying about the misogyny. Yes, he's just goading him into saying, I owe you a couple of deaths because you've done this to me and you've taken away my sister, and I'm just going to come here to provoke you. My question is, why did he ask him in?
It says it in the book. There was when you are that desperate, there is a tiny percentage of hope that you think that by doing what they say, it will get better. And he had nothing else except that tiny sliver of hope, and he went with it. And in hindsight, he's like, that single moment is the thing that will haunt me forever.
Well, I suspect Voss hasn't he got what is his? Hang on, I'll tell you. Voss has a skill of persuasion, is it?
Emotional manipulation, I believe.
Emotional manipulation, yes. So that worked for him.
Hey, Mum, you
Worked
know me
on
better
him.
than almost anyone on the planet. Do you think I could do good if I had the superpower of mind manipulation?
If you have the superpower of what?
If I possessed mind manipulation, do you think me as a person would be able to harness it for good?
Oh, that's a very good question, Maud. I think you'd find it was a challenge, and I think there would be times when you'd just go, "This guy's giving me the complete shits, and I'm going to just go him."
Yes.
Mostly, yes, I think you would.
I would use it for good or bad?
You'd use it for both.
Which said mostly good. Still.
Mostly good.
Just don't piss me off.
Exactly.
Okay. Is the most unrelatable thing in this book, this is what I kind of spoke about last week, Mum, is the most unrelatable thing that no one likes potatoes. And how long could you eat potatoes and drink vodka before you got sick of it?
You'd need a lot of vodka to eat that many potatoes. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that they had mushrooms and potatoes and everybody was absolutely sick of them and the quality of the vodka was really awful.
Yeah.
I kind of was amused by that and how many mushroom ragouts you could make.
Yeah. So what is it? Spud soup again? What was the dish?
And spud bread.
Spud bread.
Spud bread.
Spud bread. I'd be okay with it. Oh, wow. Academic, that's a really interesting thought as well. Sorry, that was my thinking face. I was stuck there for a bit. It's that episode of Jessica Jones where she tries to redeem Kilgrave. Mum, you've been bringing up 6th century Catholicism every time. That's my new grimdark. You did a bit of research in it. Tell me what you love or don't love about that era and why you think a lot of vampire stories exist in that time.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure why they exist in that time. I mean, they can exist in any time.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the darkness of what we think of as the Dark Ages lends itself to that sort of thing. I'm not sure exactly why it seemed, but most people sort of put it in a medieval sort of context. The Catholicism I thought was interesting in this book because it's sort of Catholicism with a bit of a twist. You know, Jesus didn't die on the cross. He died in a different way, and the Redeemer's blood had been, captured in the chalice and things like that. So there was a bit of a twist to the Catholicism. But in terms of the Inquisition, even though it wasn't a 6th century thing, the Inquisition was really interesting because, and I think Talon and the Inquisitor's sisters kind of was really a very good representation of the bad of the church, the sadism of the church. Mm-hmm. Yes, they've got rules and regulations and they have very strong stipulations that you should adhere to that, and that kind of makes sense. But it's that kind of, we're just going to come in and we're going to do what we want and we're going to cause as much pain as we can because we like you to be in pain. That sort of overarching horror story of the Inquisitors, and in fact the Inquisitors, which are part of the Catholic Church, are actually worse than the vampires.
Yeah because at least the vampires sort of mind their own business from time to time. They're off doing their own thing, but it's the Inquisitors who are like making it their business. Now this is what I would argue is the more dangerous villain, right? It's your Professor Umbridge. It's your Sheriff of Nottingham. It's the lawful evil, where they will use the law to oppress, to deem their actions not worthy, deem their actions correct, I guess.
Justified.
Justified. Thank you, Mama.
You're quite right, Floss.
And it's the scariest one because what you then see is they torture confessions, right? But as soon as they get their confession, then they're justified. See, they were a witch. We were able to burn them at the stake because this man here, who, don't ignore the fact that he's got 0 teeth now, he told us that it was that person and we've got his confession. So we handled it by the book, but they use violence to get there. And I think that, yeah, that's a very, very dangerous person. And then you look at in today's age, there is a reason, especially in America. It's so strange how police are viewed in different countries, because it's very, very different in America than it is in Australia. And that's a lot of the time corruption of power, right? They use the law to hide behind it and to do dastardly things. But are seen as someone who is lawful, therefore cannot possibly be bad. But that's sort of like today's version of it. And what you will see are people being like, well, do we have to blindly trust what they're doing? Can you vouch for every single person's actions here? Or, are there a few rotten apples happening? So I think out of all the, when you look at villains and evil, right? Villains that are evil, I feel, are more rare because villains truly think that what they're doing is good. They justify their actions. They believe what they're doing is a benefit for at least people that they care for, or what a vision that they're trying to get to. We have this thing in the community where we the greater good is always something that's often brought up. And if I say the greater good, then you'll hear an echo of
the greater good.
Thank you, Lisa. Good. Thank you. And that is always a scarier one. Someone who's evil for the sake of being evil, right? It's a very black and white approach. We're like, right, we know that they're evil. They hurt animals for fun. Evil, right? Boom, case closed. It's when the motive and intent, when they're able to justify it, that's when I need my mind powers. Exactly right. In More Do We Trust? I mean, that's weird saying that username while I'm having this conversation, but can you really blame me when that's your username? I did that without mind powers. Imagine what I could do with them.
You're right. That's the scariest part of it.
What? Anyway, I think the Inquisitors are the greater evil here. Something that I bring up often as well is when it's like when Australia gets mentioned and people had go, oh, but everything's trying to kill you in Australia. I could never go to Australia because all the snakes and the spiders and they're trying to kill you. I'm like, they're actually not. A snake doesn't set out to try to kill you. A shark doesn't wake up and they're like, ooh, I haven't had a human, I haven't met my human quote for the year. None of them are trying to kill you. But a deranged, or what do I call them? An incel, for the sake of it, with a gun, that's someone trying to kill you. That's actually someone trying to kill you. So when you look at sort of like the scarier thing and you look at intent, the creatures of Australia ain't got nothing. But someone who's armed and wanting to cause destruction, that's scary. So all that to say is vampires don't necessarily want to kill you. It's just in their animalistic nature. And so the Inquisitors are worse. I'm going to pose that question to everyone else. Who do you think is the more evil or worse? Is it the vampires or the Inquisitors in this state, in this book?
I would have to agree with you that definitely the Inquisitors are the more evil, because they're trying to prove, that their way of doing things is correct, and the vampires, again, they're mostly motivated by the animalistic nature of needing to survive. Like you said, a lion doesn't go out specifically trying to hurt anybody. The lion goes out to get food so that it can continue to live.
Yeah.
You know, this is one reason why I don't like realistic horror movies.
Yeah,
But
same.
other than that, yeah, exactly. It's like I don't need that in my life.
That's it.
But yeah, so I
Like
totally
ghosts,
agree that
are they real? Don't know. Deranged people wanting to hurt other people, yeah, that's real. I don't need reminders of that. I remember talking to someone about it, and they're like, I love horror movies, like I love slashers, and I'm like, I don't. Like, why would I want to watch that when I know I could walk outside and it would happen? Like, I don't need reminders that this is a reality. Whereas these like supernatural possessions, I mean, that is real to some people, but anything like if as soon as it's supernatural ish, so like werewolves or vampires, I'm like, oh, that's great, that's fine. That is less scary. That is less real. Colleen says somebody in the US discovered a water moccasin in a helmet that he'd been wearing for an hour. Australia isn't the only place worn things can kill you. What is this story, Colleen?
I didn't get all the details, but there was some guy that I guess he'd been riding around, and when he took his helmet off, he discovered a water moccasin in his helmet that apparently was curled up, I don't know, in the padding or something. Could have killed him any time.
Didn't. Just went along for the ride.
Yeah, my son was in basic training in Georgia, and said that they had to do a lot of crawling through mud and swamps with alligators and water moccasins. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that can kill you everywhere.
Hey, Mum, can you give us an update on a report on the status of House Garrett in terms of snakes and spiders? What's the latest?
It's been pretty quiet of late, I must say. Yes, no, I haven't seen a snake for quite a while, although I have seen a couple of skins weaving through my veranda.
Mm-hmm. How big are they?
It's been pretty quiet.
How big are the shredded skins?
Oh, not too big.
Okay. When is the snake mating season? Because there was that photo. Was that last year or the year before? The two snakes that were entwined on the tree outside your bedroom window.
And yes, they weren't small.
No, Mum, the snakes were thicker than the tree branch they were on.
That's true. But they're not dangerous. I mean, they're just pythons, so they're not dangerous. They're not going to do anything. I've got a king brown in my yard somewhere, and he is so fast that he is scary. But he gets more afraid of me than I am of him.
And the intent is to not kill my mum.
Near him, he will bite me. But if I scare him and he can get away, he gets away very fast.
If you were to be bitten by that king brown, what would happen?
I'd probably last about 10 minutes.
Oh, that'd be bad. Savvy says there was a coral snake that lived the yard of my last house. What's a coral snake? Where do they live? Vaden says it's winter right now in Australia, right? So usually you see less animals out.
I think they're more coastal corals. I mean, obviously from the name, but they're a colourful snake. I think they actually are a water snake as well.
Yeah, the water snakes feel a bit scary as well.
So it's a bit maritime.
Mum, it's in Central Texas. Very wrong.
Is that right? A coral snake?
Red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow is the coral snake.
Okay.
Shanty.
I would have thought that. I thought we had coral snakes around the Barrier Reef.
We do have. There are ones that are red touch and yellow, aren't there? There's like those striped ones. We have them there as well.
Yeah. Back to the book, Maud.
No. The Wola says, man, I want to move to Australia, mostly for the stick insects, but I love all the fauna too. I do not miss that fucking rooster, Mum.
Oh, he's still around, little red rooster. He's still around. He's so cute.
4 a.m. and it's not a it sounds like a woman being attacked at 3 a.m.
Yes, and he does it every 30 seconds.
Oh my God.
I timed him.
You did? He's on the clock from like 3 a.m. and it's
He's very judicious. And no, not so much judicious. He's dutiful.
Dutiful. Got it. That sounds like what my dog sounds like, says Rocco. There you go. Okay, back to what was the previous conversation? Oh yeah, who is more evil? And I think we kind of all decided. And someone said earlier, wait, you're trying to tell me that humans are more evil than vampires? Wait, we're the problem all along?
Sorry.
Controversial debate point number 2. Does Gabriel deserve redemption? By the end, he's killed Voss, but at what cost? Is he redeemed or just broken? I think he deserves redemption. He's gone on. What have we all decided? In gaming, especially fantasy RPGs, the worst quest is the escort quest. Escorting someone from A to B is the worst quest that you can be given as a side quest, and you try to avoid it at all costs. Gabriel just spent years in an escort side mission. That man needs to be redeemed. I think. But what do you think? Are we the drama?
I mean, I'm especially he redeemed because, like, not only did he do that, but because he was away from his family, he couldn't be there to protect him. Yeah. So, like, that was the biggest sacrifice he could make.
What does everyone else think? Does Gabriel deserve redemption? Yes or no?
Of course he does deserve redemption, Like, it's like...
Well, he's a vampire now.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what he is, a human or a vampire. It's just something it's a rite of passage, because he's done all of this stuff. He's been through all of this suffering. He's done all the experiences that one can do within a lifetime that, would garner him to be considered a bad person. But at the same time, he's always available for redemption, Just because you have bad things done to you doesn't mean you have to be a bad person.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
But I feel like in this case, he gave his entire life, he gave half of his life to this organization, right, to do well, to train to fight the monsters. And he himself has constantly been fighting himself, the monster part of himself. He's been trying to fight for humanity. And his people, the place where he grew up, the place where he offered his services, even though he walked from it, blah, 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 they turned on him. I guess he turned on them first, but then they turned on him and they fought together to kill him, right? So the humans technically rejected him. So for him to then become the monster that he's trying to not be, dude, unleash. Like, for what? I ask that question a bit too often. You're doing all this, Gabriel, for what? So that they can kill you because you're trying to do the right thing by saving Dior? Unleash the monster. KP says, sounds like a lot of people turning on a lot of other people. Yeah. Alicia says, personally, I think everyone is redeemable, but I admit I myself struggle to forgive in general. Rocco says, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. Satan. Lisa says, Pianki says, if I missed that, I blame it on the audiobook. Oh, wait, did I miss something? Is he a full vampire now? Didn't he get turned? His sister turned him. Isn't that what happened at the end? No? His sister brought him back just with blood? I thought she got turned. I thought she got turned.
What I got out of what I listened, maybe I need to re-listen.
I listened as well.
I thought that she saved him, and that I remembered him saying something if he was given more blood, then he would be like enthralled to her.
So he
Maybe.
stayed a
Yeah,
human,
too
but he
much
drank her
times.
blood, but she didn't kill. No, but he was dead though, or was he just dying? And then she
We
gave him the
don't
blood.
know what he is when he's talking to um,
Yeah, I don't know.
doing his history. I mean, that's the question. Is he a vampire? Here
Okay.
he is snorting, blood and drinking wine, which presumably vampires can do as well. So the question is he a vampire? Has his sister turned him into a vampire?
My bad.
Or what, what's happening? So that's the other question. Who is he? What is he?
No, I misinterpreted that because I thought that Grey and the squad killed him because they all attacked him, and I thought that he was left to die. I actually thought he did die, and she brought him back that way. Because then I was like, well, that's why she got turned, because that was her purpose. The sister's purpose was to then turn him. She gave her blood while he was dying, which healed him. Should she do that 2 more times, he will be enthralled to her. Got it. But he's one step closer to being that monster.
He's enthralled to her. I think he becomes a vampire with 3 sessions of blood drinking or whatever.
We don't know.
I think the thralls are people that are attacked by a vampire that are just kind of turned into a sort of a zombie vampire, if you know what I mean.
No, the thralls are,
They didn't make it clear. They made it clear that if you want to turn somebody, you had to drink from that person 3 times. But none of these people that they're getting in the field, that are working in a field, that are being turned over 3 nights or 3 times. They're just sort of becoming almost like revenants.
Well,
but he doesn't use the word revenant.
Well, maybe it's not a vampire turning, it's his vampire power of the manipulation that's enthralling them. We shouldn't be asking this many questions, though.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of questions that we aren't getting answers to.
All right, next one. Is Dior's role as the Grail empowering or exploitative? Dior is essentially a child burdened with saving humanity. Is this fantasy or a critique, of child sacrifice narratives? Damn. I don't think Dior's role as the Grail is empowering at all, because she's constantly hunted and they want to destroy her. Even the people that are supposed to be saving her still want to kill her. So I don't think there's anything empowering about it. And the one time that she did save someone on the barge, they turned against her anyway. So it's not even like she can be the saint of healing and like Jesus would bring you sick and I will heal them. She doesn't get any empowerment from it. Bianchi also says feeding on the vampire 3 times was just the way for the vampire to gain control. That is why the dried blood is always a mixture of many vampires.
I was just thinking the person, as you said, they were the Holy Grail. It's kind of like that book, The Giving Tree, where it's like you're giving help to somebody, but you're not returning anything back. You're eventually grading yourself down to the point where you can't give anything anymore.
Yeah.
That's the logic that I came about.
Just want to shout out to everyone who's over on the YouTube page. Hello, Pico, saying can't stay, but keep up all the good work. We were over on TikTok as well. Michael's in there saying Empire of the Vampire is such a peak series. Duck Smaller says hi. Uzi Jesus popped by, which is always a great time. Mom, if you read Dungeon Crawler Carl, that will actually make sense to you. I would worship Uzi Jesus.
Isn't he asshole?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, she doesn't know that. Yeah, I'm like, damn.
It's funny. Last question, the queerness subplot. Aaron and Baptiste's relationship is beautiful, but ultimately tragic. Does the book celebrate or punish their love? I think the book celebrates it, but the characters and the system punish it. But what's everyone else think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say their relationship or their story is tragic. Is I mean, yes, they got kicked out of what they were in, but I mean, they went on to kind of live out their life together, and I think that's a great representation.
And they were even ready to sacrifice everything as well for Dior, but Dior was like, oh, I can't do that again. So she ran off. But yeah, I liked the fact that Aaron was this, what was supposed to be quite a tropey bully who had, privilege, and his father was aristocratic, and, he just wanted to punch down on everyone. And it ended up being, they ended up being family, and like forging this brotherhood, which I thought was really, really sweet and endearing. And that's all based on Gabe's acceptance of them, really. Could have turned him in, but he didn't.
I quite like the contrast between Saint-Michon and Aveline. One was the religious kind of epicenter of knowledge and, a representation of sort of the goodness of the church, supposedly, and the rules and regulations of the church. And Aveline is the sort of the creation by two gay guys who have kind of created this lovely community. They've got everybody behind them. It's not as a result of religion in a way. It's it is and it isn't, but it's religion done in a sort of a gentle, nice way, I suppose. I mean, the contrast I thought was really interesting.
Support instead of fear.
Yeah, and they're working as a community, to protect themselves, but their leaders are both gay, and it's a very anti sort of Catholic type thing. They don't want it, they don't like it, and yet it exists in their life, and they're all okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the acceptance is beautiful.
Whereas
always.
The church won't tolerate it.
Yes. Jelly9, thank you so much for following a minute ago. Welcome to Maud's Book Club. That's my mum you're listening to. We're having a chat about Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. And I know I'm very late, but Ropanda, thank you so much for your sub. And Hero Pat, it's been a minute, but I hope you're doing well if you are still here. Sorry that I slipped on that one. Colleen, your hand was up. We're talking about the queerness subplot. Does the book celebrate their relationship, or does it punish their love?
One of the things I found really interesting about them was that they still had faith. To me, they were like some of these churches that think, okay, we're going to live like Christ taught. We're going to accept people, we're going to love people, and we're going to be open to everyone. So I thought that was just really interesting that they were more spiritual than the institution.
I agree. And it was a really beautiful conversation with Gabriel and Baptiste being like, how do you still have faith? How do you still worship a God that brought this upon you, that, set you up to fail, that did all of these things? And the flip side of that was like, yeah, but he also equipped me with the ways to handle it. And you're just like, hot damn. It was like, really, really beautiful conversation.
That was great. That was a really nice speech.
Yeah, it was, because I was kind of like, Gabe's had everything taken from him, and he's cynical, and he's been beaten down, and he's turned on faith utterly. And you see that in a very prominent in today's age. But then there's that flip side where it's like, sure, but the faith sustains everything. And that is beautiful. And I've had many a conversation between the difference between faith and religion. And I'm very into faith, but I'm not so into religion, the institute side of it all. But it was a friend of mine that goes to church. And I was like, can you explain this to me? And she kind of really gave me a very Baptiste gist on faith. And I was like, oh man, yeah, I can get behind that. Like, as in, is it something that will kind of like guide my ship? No, but when someone else implores faith, I'm like, oh, I kind of recognize and understand it. And I'm not going to say that it's wrong, because it absolutely works for them. So it's, really interesting to learn about, especially in this country. Very, very different in Australia, in some pockets of Australia. So kind of at the end, the big core things that come out of this, the final talking points. Against nihilism, the book sets stubborn counterweights with chosen family, Chloe's incandescent belief, Aaron's hard-won peace, and above all, love as the only heaven found in hell. So the core questions that the second half of this book asks, in a world without hope and without God and without redemption, what keeps us human? And I feel like it is. Oh, yes, Jimmy, and then Vaden.
Oh, yes. So you're saying if there is a world with those things that don't exist, how does something keep you human?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would think that in that world, the thing that would keep people human would be the compassion that you show for each other, maybe the bonding, the meals that you share, the laughter that you share, the whole overall camaraderie, life experience with them. That's my understanding.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Vaden.
Yeah, I mean, what defines humanity, I guess, is sapience, like culture, ethics. Like those are things you can that keep a human. So if you lose those things, then you stop being human. Essentially, in my opinion. So, yeah, just simple as that.
I feel like a big theme and trope and genre in fantasy is found family, right? It's this notion of where, whoever's family you're born into. It's like sort of the people that define you and that you choose to love and support outside of that. What's really interesting here is that Gabriel kept ignoring his sister's letters until it was too late. And she's decided to take that as rejection. So her brother opted out of her, and she was supposed to die, but she, like her other sisters before her, were reborn as vampires. And she has felt so rejected by her brother, who could have guided her and cared for her, and she could have sought him out for help. But instead, she's flipped it. And she's like, right, I reject my family. I have none left. And my only brother never gave me the time of day. So I'm now going to become resourceful and resilient and a powerhouse in my own right. Because Gabe's going through the same thing with his sanguine,
Sanguinomancy,
whatever that word is, the blood mage abilities. He's like, I have no mentor. I have no one before me that can teach me my ways. I have no teacher. Neither does his sister, but she's learning real fast what to do with her magics. And she's becoming quite formidable. So found family and the inverse of rejected family play a really big role in the second half of this book. But what keeps us human? Mum, what keeps you human? We don't know how she learnt, says Mekad. We don't.
I'm not sure. Love keeps me human.
Cute. Sanguimancy. Thank you. Academic says, I prefer the sanguine horror named Colin. This is your sign to read He Who Fights with Monsters. Negative, I am a meat popsicle. Thanks, Tim. Rocco said, what keeps me human? Really, just my friends and family. Reading books to keep my brain occupied. Yeah. There you go. We've got 30 minutes to wrap this up. The fate of everyone. Let's look at kind of where the book ends and the fates that have bestowed upon everyone. Sister Chloe, the priestess and Gabriel's former ally, conducts the rite and attempts to kill Dior with a silver steel knife. She is killed by Gabriel And the significance here is that her unwavering faith in divine plan becomes her actual undoing. She dies believing that the right was ordained, never understanding that faith can be vaporized for evil. Greyhand's an interesting one. The mentor character kind of fought for Gabriel. But yeah, he turns on Gabriel as well. But he's killed by Gabriel, throttled to ash with his burning grip. Gabriel kills the man who trained him, the father figure of the Silver Saints. What was Talon's deal, Mum? Because you said Talon has Tourette's? I did not pick up on that because I was listening to the book.
I think Talon's got Tourette's because he keeps saying all these, sort of swear words, but it seems like the language that he uses is very rushed and it's very there's a lot of swearing in it. Jay Christoph I had listened to one of his podcasts and he was saying that he gets a lot of his little sayings and quirky language from his friend who works in construction, and he's saying in construction there's a lot of interesting language. But Talon seemed to be specifically the way he spoke seemed very Tourette's-y to me. He couldn't say a sentence without saying something sort of almost outrageous.
Talon?
I don't know. What do the others think? That's just what it struck me.
Talon is his name? Talon?
Yeah.
I've just texted Jay to ask. I'll get you an answer. Let's find out.
Great.
I think it's interesting. Maybe he does. Danton Voss was killed by Dior, who shoves Astrinka covered with her own holy blood through his chest. He staggers up. His wounds begin to smolder, and then she slices his throat ear to ear. Danton, the Forever Prince, is dead. Now, Dior killing Danton using her own blood, the very thing that makes her the Grail, she becomes both the weapon and the one wielding it. So this is the thing about her blood. It heals people who are sick, but it also hurts vampires. Does that then reinforce that Faith is championing her? And if so, why is the right to kill her? Is it just because she's housing blood? Is she a meat popsicle?
Well, I think we don't find out. That's one of my questions.
Right, we'll never know. What we have as well, and this is a theme in a lot of books, is the prophecy, right? And as soon as you know a prophecy, does it mean that the prophecy is interpreted in a particular way? Is it misinterpreted? Can you do something about the prophecy now that you're aware of it? Or is it cemented all along, all the way through? This here, the prophecy promised, from holy cup comes holy light, the faithful hand sets world aright. And in the seven martyrs' sight, mere man shall end this endless night.
Doesn't necessarily mean that Dior should be killed.
No, right?
I mean, this is it. And I think that's what Christoph is trying to say. There's a lot of superstition. There's a lot of interpretation of text. Who wrote the text? They're founded in some dusty old part of the Forbidden Library. I mean, who's saying this? It could be just somebody drooling, because they're bored in the library one day. I mean, it's just, it's to me, he's sort of really highlighting sort of the nonsense of interpreting a scripture, if you like. I don't know. What do other people think?
Alicia says, this is where I couldn't understand why they thought killing Dior would solve anything. It seemed pretty clear to me that they needed to keep her alive so her blood could be used for weapons. But then again, still, Alicia, that stops making her a person and still it makes her a thing, right? It makes her a weapon. Her blood is the asset, not necessarily her being alive. Alicia says, and that those weapons would kill the Forever King. And she did that while she was alive. But Toaster says, no, it rhymes. It must be legit. Vaden.
Very cute. Very cute.
Toaster, my
I was
mum
gonna
just
say
called
that-
you cute. That's weird.
I was just gonna say that, like, I find that the whole persecution of Dior to be kind of a frustrating aspect of the book because it feels like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you have vampires in the world, you're clearly evil, or you're supposed to be evil at least. You have someone who heals people with their blood, and then people are like, "Oh, that's black magic, it's witchery." Like, what witches are existing that are healing people? That why do you think it's bad? Like, there's nothing to indicate that's bad in any way. Like, I mean, yeah, it's magic, but they have magic. It's not like magic doesn't exist in this world. People use all sorts of unusual stuff. But like, it's all associated with
all blood heals Gabriel, though. Blood heals vampires. So
sure, but it's used on people.
You see, like it's a very blurry line between blood healing, whether it's the Holy Grail or the vampires.
So you're saying is it because? Okay.
Well, because vampires need human blood, and so therefore they're the threat. But in this instance with Dior, her blood hurts vampires and heals humans. So if we're on the side of humans, she is the gift.
Yeah, so I feel like the humans should naturally go like, oh, she's probably on our side. Instead, they seem to be. The vampires understand being against her. The humans are against her too, a lot for the most part, which is the bizarre part. Like, why?
So if I were Danton, I would be acknowledging and shouting the hypocrisy of people and humans, because it's incredibly hypocritical.
Yeah.
Hi, Vanessa.
That's right.
Right?
I
Yeah.
have a thought.
What
Yes?
are the vampires
Mum,
going to
hold
do?
that thought for 5 seconds. Colleen, yes?
To me, it's like with early medicine, especially if a woman was involved, any power that a woman had, something I've been reading about voodoo, even that was misinterpreted because it was for healing. It was for, it was a female-led shamanism.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever, I think a certain amount of that magic would have happened, even if it was a man. But the fact that she was a woman with this ability, that makes her a witch. It doesn't matter if she's helping people because it's magic. And we know magic is bad, especially if it's from a woman.
She made me a tea and I started feeling better. We must kill her. Mum, what was that thought that you had? Mama.
I was wondering the vampires presumably want her to kill her in order to, I don't know. We don't kind of know why the Danton and all of them are seeking Dior. How they know Dior's the chalice? They do, because somebody that was from the church has told the vampires about it. But presumably they're just going to kill Dior if they get their hands on her. Is there any other alternative that might occur to anybody that if the vampires got hold of Dior, that they would do something else other than kill her?
I don't think it's explicit, but I can see them using her as a weapon against other vampires, any enemies they might have, but I don't know.
That's a good point.
The sister, Diantha, that's what she was. When she found out they were going to sacrifice her, she said something like, "Oh, that would be such a waste. That's not what this is for."
Yeah.
So
What does she
I think
know?
they had, yeah, I think they had other ideas about her. I don't know with the Forever King and his court. I don't know what exactly their motivation was. But it didn't sound like either one of them really wanted to kill her
So she was better off with the
necessarily.
vampires, but we just don't know what for. But they didn't want her dead. But sometimes there are things that are worse than being dead. Do you feel that the ending of this book is hopeful or nihilistic? Because, let's break it down, the ending of this book. Gabriel saves Dior. There's hope. He kind of loses his humanity and gets rejected by the people that trained with him to do it. Nihilism. The endless night continues. Nihilism. But family and chosen family and love persist. Hope. Where do you sit with this? Mum, you hated the ending. You feel it's nihilistic.
Well, see, at the end, you don't know whether Dior lives or dies. You know, you've got no idea. You know, we know that he's killed sort of the king vampire, but there's nothing in his story so far to say how all that went down. So you don't actually know Dior's even alive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I mean, that the ending is really not consolidating very much at all.
Alicia says, the book's catchphrase is, I should have fucking known better. That's pretty nihilistic. Yes. And Vaden says, the author says they don't believe in happy endings, and boy, did he deliver. So I just didn't feel overwhelming nihilism. I was like, oh, I'll read some more. It was Pianki who said to me it sounded like they wanted to take Dior to the Forever King, and Smeckard said maybe she could make them more powerful or more vamps. So she would be the vessel, the way to power up vampires to make them even more powerful, or to create more vampires. Because at the moment, it's random, right? You could be bitten and killed by a vampire, and you might rise, you might not. We don't know. It's usually more women than men, from what we've seen. It's usually Gabe's sisters. But what's going on with that? Maybe that's why, Mum, you think that there's a correlation between Dior and Gabe, because bad shit keeps happening to them. Rocco says, I feel like it's both. It's trying to entice you into the rest of the books. Jay had to give you hope, but not too much. Colleen says they keep talking about Gabe shattering or losing the Grail. Yikes. What do you think? Let's treat this like a random pop quiz. What do you think the book's about? What is the book actually about? Is it about not saving the world? About choosing to love one person completely, regardless of the cost? Is it about the corruption of institutes built on faith? Or is it the blurred line between savior and monster? What's the book?
Maybe all of the above.
There you go.
I like the blurred line between, what did you say?
Savior and monster.
Yeah, I like that one.
Well, it spans decades, right? The person who was a savior can become a monster. The person who was a monster can become a savior. Or you stay a little bit of both. What do we think Gabriel's future is all about? Do you feel like he can retain his morality without his faith?
Yeah, I think that would be actually easier for him because I feel like his immorality, since his morality, it's not his ethics. His morality already conflicts with the ethics of his society. So I think that's easier for him now that he doesn't have to worry about relying on the faith to see him through, and they can rely on his own interpretation instead, and he can use that to figure out the right way to do things, the correct path.
Who's still on his team? Aaron and Baptiste are still team Gabriel. He just tried to kill Jean-Francois, so that ain't one of them. There's something about the Undying Empress, is that her name, who wants to get this story? That's who the historian's trying to get the story for?
Isabella or something.
Yep. Isabella. Why? Is Gabe going to be punished for his actions? Why is this confession necessary? Where does this confession go? Is he about to die? Is he going to escape? Is he going to become a martyr? What's in store next?
My guess is that, like, if he's doing all this to give all this information to a vampire who's working for another vampire, I assume there's kind of some kind of vampire rivalry going on, and that he's using Gabriel's information, or he's using Gabriel's information to help them fight against other vampires or something like that. Because I don't see them just doing this for fun. Like, I don't see them. Like, I don't know what other reason there could be right now. But
I mean, he's giving every single detail. He's not skimping. So that's the thing. It's like, why are you giving him absolutely everything? It's because you always knew you were going to try and kill him at the end, because it was all going to be for naught, that he was going to document absolutely everything, knowing that it wasn't going to get there. But he doesn't kill him. That information does exist. Why? I am actually kind of excited to learn what unfolds with his sister. His younger sister, who doesn't even really like him, is the only one who could really mentor him about his sanguimancy, which I find really interesting. I find it really interesting. There's 3 reactions to the ending. Which one do you fit in? Maybe it's been obvious, maybe it's not. Some people felt devastated by the ending, that Gabriel was kind of defeated by the whole thing and there wasn't really much of a victory. Some people felt that it was perfect, that love over salvation is more powerful than any happy ending. Some people wanted clarity. Mother, the ambiguity about Gabriel's future. Well, it says in my notes, it says leaves them desperate for book 2, or leaves them too pissed off to continue. Where do you sit? Did you feel devastated by the ending? Did you like the ending, or did you wanted more clarity? Are you A? Are you B? Are you C? Mum is C. I am B. Some people
I
are
definitely
A.
wanted more clarity. That's for sure.
Yeah. Bianchi says C. Vaden says C. Lisa says B and C. I feel like I'm a bit B and C as well. Colleen says, I expected that kind of ending. I mean, yeah. Smekit says it wasn't... Oh, yes, Mama?
Sorry. Apparently, when the Jay Christoph interview that I saw, he says he doesn't like happy endings, but he also talked about the fact that, and I think this is the spoiler and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I thought it was part of this particular book, was that that everything that Gabriel is telling Jean-Francois is a lie.
So Vaden just asked that question in the chat. Have we learned?
Yeah, and if it's a lie...
Have we learned if Gabriel is a reliable narrator? KP Dubs was wondering why you were watching an interview that wasn't one of mine, Mother. It's only because I haven't interviewed Jay yet.
Call it homework.
I'll follow up with Mum. Which of my interviews is your favourite?
I quite like the one with I can never remember her name. The vampire lady.
V.E. Schwab.
Yes.
All of them. Panicked. All of them is the answer. K. Freda says, when are you going to interview Jay Christoph, Maud? Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Actually, but he's going to be in LA, so I'm going to try and do it in person. How exciting. We will see if that's something that we can do. Who's going to be continuing the series?
Hello.
Not quite.
Mum's not. Colleen, yes. Lisa, yes.
Yes.
Vanessa, what'd you give this one out of 5?
I think I'm about at 3.5, I would say.
Okay.
There's sort of that internet joke of like, copy my homework, but change it enough so it doesn't look the same. And I feel like this book he copied a lot.
Where were the obvious influences or borrows?
The Da Vinci Code.
We did bring that up.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to create a whole new religion, I feel like he could have made it a little more different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed very, very just a copy of Catholicism without him wanting to call it Catholicism.
Interesting. Hey, Vanessa, I don't know if you've met my mum before. My mum pops into about a stream every year. This is like the 4th or 5th time she's done it. She was a psychologist, so she usually has like a lot of insights into the character. But she was talking a lot about the Catholicism side of it as well. But I just wanted to introduce you to my mum. Mum, that's Vanessa.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Hi, Vanessa.
Ute. I hear what you're saying. It got to the point where I didn't really see it as a standalone different religion because it was so similar. So I thought that the nudge was sort of there. Like there was supposed to be an obvious comparison, but in different lands, so to speak. Because we were talking about last week, Mother, that there's a lot of French and Irish, whether it's names of characters or locations or language. There's a lot of Massy. There's literally like a French dialect and language throughout the whole thing. Was that on purpose or did that detract? Do we know if this is around France and Ireland, or are they also a little change the homework? Because why have Merci beaucoup if it is not French, but changing sort of like wine to be called Monet and things like that? Thoughts, Mother? Do you like the French and Irish inserts?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I mean, it seemed to me that it was sort of European, you know, the Visigoths and, you know, Germany and France. And so I didn't pick up Ireland. I picked more Scandinavian countries and maybe, I mean, he was sort of using all these acutes and graves and things on words that I think he's just made up. So I didn't get Irish, but I got German and French and Scandinavian. So, I mean, and I think during that period in the 6th century that he's supposed to be writing about, there was a lot of, I think the Romans had left the western part of Europe, and so there was a lot of tribal wars and stuff, and he was sort of using that as the backdrop for what he was trying to do. So yes, you'd get German names, French names, all that sort of stuff. That's just my hunch.
You didn't see any Irish?
No, but there could have been Irish.
There was a character called Saoirse.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the audiobook narrator said it wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely an Irish name.
Sure is.
True. I don't know.
And I feel like there was, when they were going north into like the Highlands.
But they'd need to go across the sea.
But it's not actually it, but it's what Vanessa's saying. We're going to change the homework slightly so you do not know.
Okay. Yes, Irish. There'd be Irish. That's certainly an Irish name.
I forgot about Saoirse and Bellamy. Gosh, they didn't make it to the second half of the book. And did they make it to the second half of the book? Did they die by the end of this first half of the book? When did the battle at the castle take place? That was around the halfway mark. That's when we found out that Dior's a girl.
Who ended up surviving and being tortured. That was pretty miserable.
Who ended up surviving?
Raffi, the priest.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Raffi. This is where like vampire are evil, right? They captured Raffi, didn't kill him, turned him, and then left him as a vampire basically on their doorstep. And it was this thing where they're trying to lure them out of their grounds. And so they've turned to the friend, and it's like, if you want to kill him, you'll have to come out and put him out of his misery. But Gabriel ended up lighting an arrow on fire and putting him out in that way. And he's like, I'm convincing myself that I saw him nod at me to do it and to do it quickly, because otherwise, like, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. But they turned Raffi, who is the symbolism and representation of faith. Did I say noddling? Yay. No more Gridmark. No more noddling. I have evolved. Rocco says, I actually got Scottish more than Irish. They use dinner a few times, and if Outlander is accurate, dinner fash and phrases like that are Scottish. The audiobook uses a Scottish accent for the clan lady. Oh, I took Monet to be the name of the wine. Oh, there you go. What, with like 10% vampire blood?
I think they just kind of mishmashed a lot of things together because it's a fantasy world. So, it's a little of this, a little of that, and not really adhering to any kind of geography or even language.
I think I have to change my score to a 4.25. I think I have to do it. I really enjoyed this book, but we've just spent the last 2 hours kind of talking about the whys. And there's just a couple of holes, aren't there? Mum, what did you give this one again?
Well, I was rocking towards 4 up until the last.
That's right.
Chapter. I guess.
What would you have liked to have happened?
I think I would have liked a couple of either reveals or strong suggestions. And I think I was bracing myself for the fact that I was going to learn that everything that Gabriel had told Jean-Francois, that it was a lie, that he'd made it up, or it would transpire that what he told him was completely rubbish. So I suspect that I was sort of waiting for that, but I would have liked some kind of satisfying reveal, even though I could have handled not having a whole full reveal. I would have liked something a little bit more to sort of land on, if you like. Yeah, so I found the last chapter just really sort of destructive in a way.
Alicia was saying, I actually agree. I thought that they purposely mixed up languages to connote a sense of no boundaries. Like if all the water was frozen over, then perhaps the normal borders wouldn't be there. But then said, I don't know if what I wrote makes sense. Yes, it does. Like in this version of Earth's reality, geographically it was blended. Yeah. Smeckett says
they had things like the Volta, which is in geography, the Volga is a sort of a river that runs through Russia and I think other countries. So you've got similar but not the same. You're not, you as Colleen says, you can't kind of discern the geography of Europe. But it's European in a sense.
Yeah. Okay. Or was the research done that in the 6th century geographically it had been blended because land is moving? Or is that more millions of years ago? Millions of years of changes, not a few centuries.
Millions of years ago.
There you go. Maybe not in this book. That was a long time ago, says Smeckett. But it is interesting to learn all that. We're talking about that with like the Indigenous people of Australia. It's like, would they have, even though there's records of the Dreamtime and Indigenous people going back 10,000 years, they would have had to have crossed water to get to Australia. They would have had to have taken massive risk and traveled across water to find Australia, right? Mum, you know the rules. If you're my parent, you're supposed to know everything.
Yeah, sort of. It depends. I mean, if you're looking at the geography from millions of years ago, I don't know, Maud. It's 70,000 years. They sort of say that the Indigenous Australians have lived in Australia. So I don't know. They seem to have come from somewhere, but a long time ago.
Wow. And that's all the time we have. I had one other little thought. Oh, yeah, David Attenborough's not allowed to die. Okay, good. That was a thought circling my mind because I like his documentaries, and that's where I learn. That's who I learn from the most. That's where my brain goes when Mum talks. Hey, thanks so much, Mama, for joining us for Empire of the Vampire. Thank you for all of your thoughts. We didn't even touch upon the volcanic inspiration that may have caused Day's End. Did you want to go into that?
No, we did.
Do you want to?
536.
Do you want to?
No, not particularly. But I mean, well, supposedly historically in 536 there was a volcano in either Iceland or North America that just blocked out the sun for months and months and months. And things didn't grow, and so what he's describing with the potatoes and whatnot is what happened, but it didn't last. I don't know. It might have lasted for 30 years or something. Don't know. Not sure how long it lasted.
So when I copy and pasted your notes to Jay Christoph, he wrote back saying, "Oh wow, she knows about the 536 eruption. She's a clever lady."
Well, it doesn't take that much to look up the internet. Thank you very much for having me, and it was nice to see familiar faces. And I shall depart.
Thank you, Mama.
Have a good night.
For those that don't know, we have a bonus book coming for the rest of August, and yes, it's another Australian author. Her name is Stacey McEwen. The book is Forbidden Alchemy. This has been getting some rave reviews online, but not from Jeff. So take that as you will. It is our bonus book, which means we'll be reading the entire thing, and we're going to be meeting next Thursday. So you've got 8 days to try and get through that one as much as possible, and we'll chat Thursday for that. Thank you for meeting me on Wednesday. I have a book event tomorrow night, which will be very, very exciting. Rocco says, good discussion. Have a good one, Mama Garrett, and also to everyone else. And Vaden says, always great to see you too, Mama Garrett. KP says, thanks, Mama Garrett. Colleen says, always a pleasure to have you here, Mama Garrett. I love that Colleen's calling her Mama Garrett. That's so cute. And there's some applause for you, Mama. You did crush it. And I mean that. I absolutely mean that. I love having these conversations with you. You do have very good thoughts, and you have done your homework. And we do learn things. Vanessa says, lovely to meet you.
Nice to see you all, guys. I'm out of here. Bye.
Bye. We'll be doing the whole book next Thursday at 5 p.m. PT. We will see you there. Mum's bailed. She did good. Happy reading. And I'm glad that I'm introducing everyone to Australian authors if you've not read one before, which you would have with James Islington. But still, more Aussies on your radar is a good thing. Thanks for joining. See you in the Discord. Keep reading. And we're going to go raid. But this is also on YouTube. So